Hello, everyone from Kiev, Ukraine. Today we'll have a conversation with Dave Johnson from Den.social, from Den.social DAO, and Den.social it's a crypto block platform. That would be our main topic of conversation today. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Thanks for linking up and having me on to talk about Den. Like you said, my name's Dave. I work on Den.social and sort of do a lot of the community-facing interactions over there. So you'll see me around that website if you have an account.
Yeah, your nick there is dis7 and
Yeah, distant.
distant. And I'm for a long time joined the crypto blog area. That was actually one of my first steps in crypto. I started with Steemit in 2017. Then Steemit turned into Hive. And basically, I'm joining all the crypto block platforms where it's possible. On some, I'm actually banned. Well, that's the way
No kidding.
because for Russian bots, Russian influence, they destroyed my. But these are very small platforms, and really,
Yes,
I don't care too much about them. I even won't
it's
mention.
probably easier to do that on a smaller platform, I would think. That's something that we have to think about a lot too. That's unfortunate though. Like it just seems ironic to me. A blockchain or crypto or decentralized platform banning people, isn't that supposed to be at least that's how we see
Yeah,
Den.social as an
there was
anti-censorship sort
one
of thing.
very small. Well, it's maybe even not so small at the time of boom. They had their token. It's kind of copy of Steemit because
I was on Steemit too for a little while there, yeah, and I have some experience with Hive as well. And yeah, I met you sort of on Den. I've talked to you a few times in the past, but I've seen you off and on Den. It's where I've crossed paths with you. So I think we're both kind of like just checking out all the things and seeing how they work.
yes, because I also like read cash, which is popular in the Bitcoin Cash community.
Mhm.
Pub 0x also existing for some time, and my position is that whenever if I have only one reader on one platform, but this is a real reader, then I'll be there. I'm not even, and of course, it's good if there are monetization perspectives. For example, on Hive, Read Cash, Publish 0x, there are real ways to earn money, and that's different in different times. When there is a bull market, and if you are active blogger, if you have audience, you can earn maybe a salary there. Some famous or relatively famous people, they can earn even more. I mean, famous in crypto areas, maybe YouTubers. In the times of bear market, which we have now, it's really small amount, but still, if you're publishing there, you have audience, you are increasing your audience, you are
Yeah.
actually continuing this way. And then social I like because that's something uh, unique from other platforms, and there is I would say complicated but interesting tokenomics, which we'll speak more about today. But
Yes,
let's
I'm happy
speak,
to.
yeah, let's start to speak how the idea started, how the then social started.
Right. So Den was started before I came along. I came a little bit later on, and Den DAO. It's a DAO controlled platform, and one of the things that I don't know. I would have to go talk to the people that really designed it from in the very beginning and launched it. But from what I understand, it's a way to demonstrate a different way of building a Web3 website that doesn't necessarily have to be so on the nose, if you will, about being crypto and being Web3 and stuff. In other words, Den can be anybody can sign up for it without ever knowing that it's a crypto platform, without ever caring that you can withdraw any tokens that you earn or things like that. But if you are someone who likes that kind of stuff, then you can really, like you said, it's kind of complicated, the tokenomics. But if that's something that you're into, there's a lot there as well. But we definitely didn't try to just copy something that somebody else did. For example, the design decisions were made based on number one, like what makes sense if a company was really going to design a publishing platform or a social platform, what makes sense to build that isn't just copying what somebody else does. How can we use Web3, for example, and decentralization to avoid falling into the trap of relying on advertising like Facebook does, and relying on like targeting people's personal data, selling people's personal private data to advertisers. It was a way to basically do some things that maybe have been done before, but in a different way that is not predatory, and gives people more privacy, and how they use it. So it's a lot of things. It's a social site. It's a publishing platform. It is a DAO, like a turnkey DAO platform. You can run a company on it with some tools that are built in. It is a hybrid, what you would probably call a hybrid blockchain system. That comes from the design philosophy of Dragon Chain, the way that Dragon Chain is designed, where you can build it as a private blockchain, if you will, but then you can apply transparency and public decentralization where it makes sense, right? So in other words, it's not completely public, so we're not going to put people's personal information out in the public like Ethereum does and things like that, but we do use Ethereum for our tokens, right? And we even use Bitcoin to prove all of the things that are written on Den. And we can get into that a little bit later, I guess. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and it's all put into, for the amount of things that you can use it for, it's kind of compressed into a simple interface that you don't have to know or care about all that to just use it as a regular social platform, or a place for your blog, or a place for, to host a community, or a fan club for a band, or whatever you want to use it for.
Yeah, maybe let me share my screen, and we'll demonstrate how this blog platform looks like, and you will comment on some aspects, so the viewers
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
see. So that's my profile. I used it. I think I'm there for maybe 2 years.
Okay.
15 followers, 10 following, and these are my posts. For example, on this post, I got 5K upvotes. That's actually a lot for me, for my profile.
And yeah, so you can see that it's pretty familiar laid out. It's got, you can vote down. You can see the green tags there. You can tag it as a category, and there's different sections that we call layers. That one was from cryptocurrency. The next one I see is in politics. So you can sort of categorize your post. Some of these have more people communicating than others do. It's obviously it's not Twitter, there's not millions of people on it. So you got to kind of find where people are.
Yeah, and the amount of these layers is increasing. I think
every month.
Two
every
layers.
1 month. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Every month, 2 more layers are created. Yes.
Yep, 3. Right now we have it set to 3. We have a contest every month, and this is how we try to decide where there's community interest, like what categories, what topics want to be opened. Instead of, for example, making it to where anybody can just open one for free at any time, we have a monthly contest where people actually vote on new layers or new categories. So, for example, if you wanted to make, let's say there was a Kiev crypto meetup that wanted to have a forum that you wanted to use to organize those activities, you could propose creating a new layer for that. And then if you get enough people to sign up and vote for that, it will win. Yeah, you see highlighted in blue are the ones that won the contest for March. So we have two different categories. There's the one that you're in right now is just purely by the number of votes. And because you can vote more than once, there's a different category where you're at now there. Yeah, for unique voters. So we choose one every month from, how many, which layer has the most unique voters. And that one gets made into a forum. And then the other category, we choose two winners from it. And it's based on how many votes are in. And so there's all of these layers that you're going through, these proposals. These are potentially forums that could be created in the future. They are all proposed by someone who's using Den. They're proposed by, we call ourselves denizens. So they're proposed by a human, and then they're voted on by other humans. We have our own strategies for keeping bots out, or at least limiting, bot networks and things like that, which probably is, to me, some of the most interesting stuff. Something I didn't mention before, like the different things that Den is. One of the big ones is that it's behavior driven. And what I mean by that is a lot of the way that Den works, it's modeled on scarcity and behavior. So instead of like a lot of sites where you can go and you can post as much as you want, you can vote as much as you want, everything you do is free, basically. With Den, there is scarcity. You can only post and reply and vote and interact a certain amount until you run out of energy, right? We have this token called energy that it isn't tradable. It's something that you get for free, and you get a certain amount every day, but you use that on everything you do. And so one of the ways that we can keep bots out is we just make it expensive for them to operate. So if you're going to bring in a network of bots to try to manipulate the site, you'll have to go either earn or buy a bunch of matter, the MTR token, so that you have basically a bigger voice on the network. And I think that's an interesting way to address the problem of bots, because, without trying to run in circles and make yourself crazy by saying, oh, we're going to try to keep 100% of the bots out, we sort of accept that there's going to be a certain percentage of either bots or trolls or people that are going to try to, mess things up. Yeah, and if we make it just expensive for them to operate, not only does it keep them out, but if they do, if they do come in, then they would be enriching the community. They would be buying matter and adding, positive price pressure on that just to be able to come in and attack the network. So that's getting into more of the complex things, but there's everyone who has an account has a vote in how the website, how the platform is operated. So everyone is in Den.DAO. When I say that Den.DAO operates it, everyone has a vote in that decision-making process. Even you, everybody has a free account. Everybody does.
Yeah, let's speak more about tokenomics, because there are many tokens. The energy, it's as you said, it's recharges. It's for upvotes. It recharges.
Yeah, that's the one you're using whenever you post. If you want to add a photo to your post, you might have to spend 8. But if you're posting without a photo, maybe it only costs 2 energy to post.
Yeah, for example, for upvoting, I use this.
Okay.
Then there is another. It's MTR. That's what you are earning actually with your posts.
Yes. So that's the primary rewards token. You can think of energy and matter as being sort of two sides of the same coin, because the more matter that you earn just by using the platform, you earn matter MTR. You earn MTR by voting, by posting, by replying to someone else's post, by tagging things, with an appropriate category. You earn rewards points for all of those things.
and it's very scarce because there is not so much MTR. For example, in all this time, I earned only 300 MTR, which is,
Right.
I think right now is few dollars.
There is only 1,000 of them that are mined every day, and that is permanent. That's, well, at least for the next, I think it's like 1,300 years or something, if you look at the smart contract. So that's basically forever as far as we're concerned right now. But yeah, there's only 1,000 per day, and that's for
That's,
all of everyone across the whole platform.
yeah, and we speak about also lore. It's also
Mhm.
token which you can trade on dexes, as I understand.
Yeah, so the two that you'll see, for example, there's Uniswap pools for Matter, for MTR, and Lore, LOR. Matter and energy, like I said before, were sort of two sides of the same coin, because matter actually is what generates your energy to use. So the more matter you have, the more energy you have. And in a similar way, Lore and Lot, LOT, those are sort of a different coin, but two sides of a different coin. And the way that that works is, right now with Den, as you're using it, not only will you earn MTR, but you'll also earn lore. And what lore is used for is voting on that content, the proposals that we were looking at just a moment ago, the different layer proposals. You can use lore to vote on those. And this is what people are using whenever they're signaling, hey, I want this new layer. They're going into that contest every month and saying this category or this forum. And however much lore you have, you can vote all of it on one category or one proposal, or you can split it up and vote a little bit, here and there. But it's a way of, rewarding the people that are most active, that are putting the most work into helping to develop a community. Those people are going to have the most matter and the most lore. And so they'll have more of a vote in those contests.
Yeah.
So when you,
For example, I committed, I voted with 2,700 lore, and and that's, for example, the reason why I have the ownership 0.5% of marketplace layer.
Exactly. Yes. So when you vote for something and it wins, so marketplace, for example, you voted for marketplace, and a lot of other people did as well, and it won. It won that month's contest. When that happens, the lore that you put into the to vote with is actually, you get one lot for every lore you put in. So if you vote a bunch, you actually get that many of these lot tokens, and those are NFTs. Actually, the lot tokens are NFTs.
Yeah, but what means I have unclaimed 40,331?
That is an excellent question. In the very beginning, everything was done, for example, with MetaMask, where you were using Ethereum to do things like even voting in the contest to make new layers and stuff. And you had to pay a transaction fee on Ethereum for that. Well, if you remember a while ago, the transaction fees on Ethereum went bonkers. They went crazy. So that unclaimed doesn't actually mean anything for you today. We have to work on how that's labeled. But what it used to mean was you would claim them on OpenSea, right? What we did was, since Den is built on Dragon Chain, we can do all of these transactions on Dragon Chain instead of doing them on Ethereum. You can think of it, if it's easier this way, you can think of it as sort of a side chain or a layer 2 for Ethereum, where you do all of the work, all the important stuff on Den's the Dragon Chain side, and then you can export tokens and rewards to Ethereum to use them outside of the website. Whatever you want to do with them, it's up to you. So that used to be a way to like, there used to be a button to the right where you could claim them on OpenSea. But I'm glad you asked that question, because that's something I haven't thought of in a while. That's all that means, is there's a legacy button that's not there anymore, and so that's probably confusing. But you have them; they're yours. You don't need to claim them. We took that off because people were still claiming them on OpenSea and paying like $300 to do so, but they didn't need to.
Yeah, I see. So I think I turned off the screen. I think, but the question I have, this tokenomics looks really complicated.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, even
it can.
for me, although I'm for a while in posting on Den.social, so I have the idea how it works. For example, why not to use if there is a Dragon chain, and as I understand, all posts is a transactions also on Dragon chain.
It is. Yes. Yep.
Why not to do it maybe using Dragon chain token? There is also this token, which
Good
you
question.
can't, as I understand, you can't earn it by posting, but
Correct.
if it would be used, it would be much easier even to monetize content, because it's easier to get and to buy to sell Dragon chain than MTR or lore.
Yeah, that's there's a couple of specific reasons for that. One of them is because Den is a separate entity altogether. So it was spun off from Dragon Chain into its own DAO, into its own company. And with that, it's built in a way that anybody else could build something on Dragon Chain. And so if a company wants to build a product or an app on Dragon Chain, they are not going to use the Dragon token. They're going to use whatever they have for their business, right? So Den was designed to demonstrate how a company might build an app on Dragon Chain. It doesn't have to have anything to do with Dragon Chain. It just uses Dragon Chain for the the rails that it's on. Another reason is that the way that the Dragon token is the tokenomics for the Dragon token, for example, is there was only ever one mint. They're all distributed. They were all there's like 433 million. So it's some Fibonacci number that I can't think of, but it's about 430 something million Dragon tokens, and they are all fully 100% like distributed already. So we can't make any more of them. There's never going to be any more. So that's one reason that it's not with Dragon, because you can't model minting Dragon tokens as a reward token. So we came up with another scarce token called Matter, and this is the one. This is the main rewards one. You don't have to necessarily know all the different ways to earn that token. You can just know that as you use the platform, you will get rewarded, and you can check every day to see what your rewards were. And that's really the one. There's like 4 different tokens, but that's really the only one that people need to know about in the beginning if they're interested in that. So the 2 reasons are it's a different company, it's a different thing, so it's not Dragon Chain necessarily. The other reason is you can't mint more dragons, and you can mint Matter, but only 1,000 per day. So we distribute, people mine them and sort of compete for that same 1,000 tokens per day, and that's how it's built.
Yeah, also I see the problem that it's really hard to sell it, because it's only present in DEXs, and the
True.
liquidity is not so big.
Yeah, that's something like right now. It is if you, let's say you had a whole bunch of Matter tokens on Den, and you tried to withdraw them from Den and then sell them on Uniswap, you're not going to get a very good price for them, right? Number one, we're in a bear market. A lot of people are like staying out of that economy, which unbalances the economy a little bit. You get more sell side than buy side pressure because of that. But also, the primary use for the Matter token is not necessarily to sell it. It has utility that even if it was worth 0, the utility that the token has, you can use the token without selling it. You can use it for other things. It
You
is.
use it to promote articles, yes.
You can use it to promote articles. You can use it to. We use it to keep bots out. Really, that's part of it too. To where the more Matter you have, the more of a voice you have, and the more Matter you have, the more the more lore that you earn every day, which allows you to be an owner of a platform, right? You can use it as your own rewards. If you have your own community with a layer on Den, you can tip people on Den this mattered as a sort of like a, hey, thanks, that was good content, or kind of like, you have the Reddit karma token too, right? So it has that sort of like, oh, okay, attaboy, good job to it. And all of the tokens have a utility, a primary utility. So even if markets go away, even if all centralized and decentralized markets stopped being available, the token itself is still useful for managing a community, for mitigating things like bots and trolls and things like that. Um, and so that's the important part. When and if Den becomes as successful as something like Twitter or something like that, that's when you'll see the advertising part of the equation making up for the lack of liquidity, at least in theory. Of course, it's brand new. We don't know what's going to happen, but Den does not have a traditional advertising um, like the centralized data mining, sell everyone's info for profit. We don't do that at all. And so the only way to advertise on Den or to promote yourself, assuming there's a big enough community that you want to advertise to, would be to go out and buy some of those Matter tokens to promote your own content, right? So that is the basically only way that advertising works. And so that's one of the major design points in Den, is that would help to balance that economy with the liquidity. That would be where a lot of that is coming from. And we don't have that right now. So you're right. It's all about, and I guess the other thing I'll say is it's not entirely a bad thing either, because what you get are people who are interested in building something that works, building something that's real. And the people that are just there to, to farm some token and then cash out and dump them on the markets, after a while, they kind of go away because you can't dump them anymore. So the people that are serious about building things tend to stick around and use the primary utility purpose of the token for what it was made for. And I've met a lot of good people like that way. A lot of people on Den that are in it for the reason of building something better than what we have today.
And what is the percentage of non-crypto people? Because still on crypto block platforms, the majority of people are somehow related. They might be not some crypto enthusiasts, but maybe some small investors, or just people who are interested in this topic, or just people who are interested to earn money with writing, but also with a lot of content is crypto related. Not always. I think the Hive is maybe the biggest platform which has a lot of non-crypto people who, of course, they have to use the Hive token, but the main topics of their content is something else. What about them?
I don't know the percentage. I would have to
Just
figure out how to come up with that. But I would say that that's one of the things that we're set up for pretty well, is that people can use the platform without needing to care about cryptocurrency. I see a lot of content related to photography or science. There's political discussions. There's a lot of content that's being created that has nothing to do with cryptocurrency, has nothing to do with blockchain. There's definitely a lot of that, though. There is a cryptocurrency layer that's pretty active. There's a trading lounge layer where people talk about trading crypto and stuff. Maybe 60-40, with still more people being, on the crypto side of the house. Like that's what at least brought them there in the first place. But there is a considerable number of people that aren't there for crypto. I know I have a live morning show on Wednesdays that I do. Well, morning for me. I'm in Florida, it would be later in the day for you, I guess. But I'm usually on that show with two other people, and neither of them are really crypto people. Neither of them invest in cryptocurrency. Neither of them, honestly, I don't even know if I'll ask them this week on Wednesday. I'll ask them how much crypto they have. They might not tell me, but I would guess that neither of them even have any Bitcoin or anything. We talk about video games and we talk about just regular life stuff. So that's something I'm proud of a little bit, is that we have people that aren't there for cryptocurrency.
Yeah, also you mentioned that there are some other blockchains used, some other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. You're using Ethereum and some other. And so, what are they used for? And are there any ideas about future interoperability?
Yes. Thank you for asking that question, because it is something that honestly, not a lot of people that use Den um, really know what's going on with under the hood on what's really happening. And so let's see. I'll try not to be too complex when I describe it, but it's something that I'm such a big fan of that it's hard for me not to just nerd out on it, right? Um, because Den is built on Dragon Chain, and because everything you do on Den is a Dragon Chain transaction on their blockchain, meaning
maybe here we need to speak a bit more about Dragon Chain.
okay,
chain it is, how it differs from another blockchains.
So
or is it
that's
just
that's a good segue into that. It is so every post, vote, everything you do on Den is a transaction. Even if you're sending a DM or in the chat room, every message is actually a transaction on Dragon Chain. And what Dragon Chain does is they take the data. Let's say you posted something on Den. Real simple, right? It's in the cryptocurrency layer, and you wanted to write about your experience using the Sweet Coin, the Move to Earn app, or something like that. So you write an article in the cryptocurrency layer, and that article, the body, the image that you attach to it, all of that is hashed into a hash. Are you familiar with hashing and how that works?
Yes.
Yeah. So you hash that data, and you get just a shorter number that represents all of that you just typed in. And that hash is then posted to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, and right now it's even, I think, in Binance Smart Chain, all three of those. And what you can do with that is anytime in the future, if there's ever any accusation of mishandling your data, or for example, if somebody who worked for Den decided to like change what you said to make you look bad, right? Some kind of attack like that. You could compare, you could look at the hash again and compare it to what it used to look like in the past. And you can prove that something has been changed. And since that's posted to Bitcoin, there's no way you can fake it. There's no way that you can change what was written in the past. So there's transparency and accountability.
I just have another question that if it's posting to Bitcoin, Ethereum, that's a lot of data, that's a lot of transactions, and that's really expensive. So, and for people who are posting, it's you can post a lot because energy renews every day. There is cost and limit, but once you are there and if you are active, you can make I don't know, like 20, 30, maybe 50 posts per day.
Yes, you can do it.
Moments, and all this goes to blockchains, but that's
so you have transaction fees with all of that.
If you need, do you need really to record all this information into blockchains? Because that's traffic, and that's expensive, because who pays for this? The Dragon Chain or
Den DAO pays for it, yeah. So that's what Dragon Chain does. is it makes that scalable and it makes that inexpensive. So like the primary thing that I think of when I think of building something on Dragon Chain is you're able to leverage all of the Bitcoin miners for security. You're able to forget about sending Bitcoin and stuff like that or investing in Bitcoin. That's awesome. It's a really good currency. But also you can use that same security that they're using to secure their transactions, their financial transactions. You can use that same security to secure any piece of data, and you can do it at scale. You can do it to the point where Dragon Chain has demonstrated hundreds of millions of transactions, like Visa credit card scale global transactions 3 times over. And you're able to do it cheaply because what Dragon Chain does is it takes your post and it takes somebody else's post and it takes maybe not even something from Den. Maybe it's a different customer of Dragon Chain. And through the Dragon Net network, in Dragon Chain itself, in the Dragon Chain platform, you have your own nodes and you have your own validation layers and your own things like that. And all of that is decentralized immediately. But then at the end of it, a lot of these come together into, so you get the hashes from the original data, and all of those can be then sort of hashed together into a single hash and then posted to Bitcoin. So the one thing that's posted to Bitcoin can represent maybe 100,000 transactions on Dragon Chain, but it still is able to secure it, saying, nope, nothing's changed in there since, if you compare the hashes.
Yeah, so basically there could be a lot of transactions in the Dragon Chain, and all of them are collected, and there might be let's say one transaction to Bitcoin network
Yes.
per day, which collects and has all of these. And
yep. And if you want to watch that happen in real time, you can go to eternal.report, and you can actually post. You can link to a tweet in there, or you can just write some random words and post that, and you'll see it. It goes through Dragon Chain layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and then eventually it hits layer 5. It might take 10 minutes. It might take 2 minutes. Depends on how fast the blockchains are going. But layer 5 is where you kind of compress all of that into a Bitcoin block, right? And so if you think about it, really, even though the accounts on Den are free and nobody has to pay anything to use it unless they want to, like if somebody wanted an account but they did not want to spend the next 3 months building up a reputation, they could just go to Uniswap, buy some Matter, bring it into Den, and then boom, you have a bigger voice. But you have to do something to contribute. Anyway, I'm getting off track. But because of all that, whenever you post something on Den, that transaction, not only is it a transaction that you're using the Dragon token as sort of a gas fee, right? The Dragon token is a license for using the Dragon Chain network. So you don't ever see it, but there's Dragon tokens being used for the Dragon Chain transactions. There is Bitcoin being used to pay for the Bitcoin transaction, Ether being used on Ethereum, and then I don't mess with Binance Smart Chain a lot, but that one's in there too, and you have to spend BNB for that. So everything you do on Den, really, you're causing or you're participating in Dragon, the DRGN token is being spent, Bitcoin's being spent, Ether's being spent, Binance coins being spent, and you can do that. You can do 1 million posts per day, and all of that is scalable and is affordable because it's through Dragon Chain, and that's one of the things that they have a patent on. Actually, in the U.S., they've got like 4 or 5 really interesting patents because they've been doing that since. I mean, they invented a lot of this stuff back at Disney when it was first developed. It was developed at Disney, and then Disney open sourced it, which is where the Dragon Chain company was formed to take it commercial from there. So all of this originated at Disney, ultimately.
You mean this cinema company?
Yeah. Yep. The founder of Dragon Chain, Joe Rotes, he was working at Disney, and he developed it It was called the Disney Private Blockchain Platform or something like that. And he actually convinced them to build this system and to run a full Bitcoin node and to use Bitcoin for security in a way that nobody had ever done before. And then once all of that was working and proven, he convinced them to open source it. And he had to, there's like a whole laundry list of stuff that you have to do. Disney's not an easy company to deal with when it comes to asking them to open source some of their proprietary information, right? So he convinced them that it was a public good, it was a public service, it was something meaningful that they could put out in the world. And it went through all of their lawyers, and they released it. They open sourced some of their IP, and that was the beginnings of it.
Is he on Den.social too?
He is. That's Joe Dragon on Den.social. You'll see Joe Dragon. He does a Tuesday morning live stream in the Dragon Chain layer on Den, where he gives updates on Dragon Chain, he gives updates on Den.social, and he also will answer the top 3 questions as an AMA. So you can ask him anything. He's open every single week, every Tuesday. And I think he's been doing that for like a year, or wait, hold on. I don't know, a long time. It's been a while. So pretty reliable.
Yeah, well, one more example that even that Den.social is very small comparing to Hive and others, so there are interesting.
Yeah, compared to Hive, we're tiny. Hive's got a bunch of people compared to us.
It would
but I don't think that's a problem necessarily.
It would be also interesting to speak about Den DAO, but I think maybe we can have a call some other time and speak about DAOs in general, because now DAO is one of the trending topic, and it will still remain for some time. And just maybe to give an idea for the viewers, if somebody is interested in Den DAO, what's the best way to start? Is it governance section in Den.social?
Good question. So Den DAO includes everyone who has an account on Den. So if you sign up for Den.social, Den.social, create an account and you start posting, you start voting on stuff, you start replying to someone else's post, maybe participate in the monthly contests for creating layers. There's all of these things that you do are behaviors, right? And we have Den DAO is special in the way that it handles governance. It is a behavior-based governance system. So what we've done is we've said, okay, anybody who wants to help can join Den DAO and help us build Den. And how do you do that? Well, there's different behaviors that we need to see from people that is beneficial. Some of those behaviors include posting content, creating content. Some of those behaviors include adding liquidity for Matter or for Lore on Uniswap, right? Some of those behaviors are simply owning a layer. If you own one of the, like, for example, the marketplace layer that you pointed out earlier, you as an owner are rewarded just by holding those ownership tokens. You get a cut of all the Matter that is mined in that layer. I think it's like 5 or 10%, and it's distributed to all of the owners of the layer, right? And all of those go into your voting weight in Den DAO. So even if you don't have any tokens that are for Den DAO, right? Even if you don't buy anything or whatever, literally just your good behavior, trying to help, not trying to come in and troll, not trying to come in and spam, but like, helping build a community, you start getting more and more voting weight in Den DAO, which allows you to say, no, we need to focus on this next. Here, this feature is sorely needed. We're working on a better leaderboard right now, for example. That's what people voted on. But that's how you join. That's how you join the Den DAO, is you just sign up for Den and start using it. And over time, you'll learn more about it, how it works, and you will earn through actually sweat equity, kind of, because you are helping to build it. Your behavior and the things that you do will signal to the system that, oh, here's someone who's, helpful. And then you get to vote on stuff.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Dave, for interesting conversation. See you in Den.social, and see you next time.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll come back and talk anytime. I like the DAO conversation too. So that's something I'm interested in. So I'll see you then.
See you. Goodbye.